puts them up in amongst, some of the teams that are going to be right up there in terms of actually challenging for the trophy, I guess. So yeah, I don't see why not. Momentum's massive in T20 cricket. You talk about it all the time. So yeah, I really don't see why not. It's like everything's coming together quite nicely, I think, for the team now.
And if they do it, it'll almost be like a mirror image of last season, where they got off to an absolute flyer and then it completely fell apart at the end, whereas it's been a pretty sort of inconsistent start. And if we're honest, when the Lancashire defeat happened, we thought, that could well be it. But they've come out, and David Willey said after that Lancashire game, when prompted actually, it's knockout cricket now. You have to play without fear, because if you leave anything back in the dressing rooms, then you're going to regret it. And I think that's the way they've played in those two, pretty convincing wins against two teams that up until they came up against the Steelbacks were flying pretty high.
Yeah, so we only had the pleasure of watching the Yorkshire game on stream yesterday. I was obviously here on Sunday, and there was a noticeable buzz amongst the players on the field, and certainly amongst those in the crowd as well. It felt like a really kind of positive step forward for the team, that game in particular on the Sunday. I had a chat with Freddie Heldrick this afternoon on my kind of lap around the ground. Alex did let me continue round in the normal direction. He was trying to push me the other way. But I had a chat with Freddie. We spoke about socks, we spoke about AJ Ty, and we spoke about the game tonight. So we'll have a listen to that, and we'll be back in about 8 minutes. Freddie.
Hello.
Oh, that was all good. Can I do that again?
We'll go like that. Yeah, I like it. Ooh.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
How's things?
Yeah, it's going all right.
Yeah.
It's going all right. It's a nice day for it, and just a busy schedule, but enjoyable.
Good win last night?
Yeah, lovely win. Lovely win. Don't have to do anything. TFC. Yeah, it was a great win. Team player, so I'm happy. If we win every game and I don't do anything, I'm celebrating.
And 2 on the bounce as well, having beat Notts on Sunday here as well. So a little bit of momentum building for the team ahead of tonight's game against Derbyshire.
Yeah, I think it's obviously 2 big games, those two, Notts and Yorkshire. You look at their lineups, you think, wow, strong sides. People probably backing them more than us, but we've just kept strong, kept ticking away, and 2 great wins. So hopefully take it into tonight.
Like Tom Taylor, word on him after last night. 5 wickets in a T20 doesn't happen very often, does it?
Yeah, that was something special. I was enjoying watching it from third man. I'd like to say I was seeing it and nipping everywhere, but to be honest, I looked like I just kept hitting the stumps. But no, that was proper. Fifers in T20s, people finish their careers never getting one, and for him to get one kind of so early, you think that's just brilliant.
Yeah. Anything exciting to report off the field from you, Freddie? Any kind of Freddie Heldrick kind of gossip you want to share with the Steelbacks fans this evening?
Gossip. No, not really. Apart from just Russell and Salesy just been annoying as ever. I think that's the only thing I've got for you. Okay. Not much.
So are you rooming with those guys?
Luckily not. They share together, so they can kind of annoy each other.
Right.
So I've been safe and Emilio a few times. Luckily Yorkshire, we were a single room, so that was the dream.
Even better. Big upgrades. So there's a rumour going around, and I think this is pretty village, Fred, I'll be completely honest with you, but I've had some inside intel that you've not washed your kit during the blast. Is there a legitimate reason for this, or is this literally just...
Well, I've washed my training kit, my socks and all that stuff.
Okay, all right, fine.
But my playing shirt...
There's some quite snazzy socks as well.
Yeah, well, I've got to keep them clean. Yeah. Playing top, I haven't washed it.
Is that good luck? Is that? Please tell me that's like a superstition or something.
Yeah, well, I was going well. And obviously I went 3 for 4 for, so I was like, I've got to keep with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And then I got whacked by Lanks, so I said, screw that, and just wore a different top. And then Notts got 2 for, and then didn't do anything last night, so...
Same top?
Yeah, probably same top.
This could be completely lost on you, but hopefully not. It's almost like that Daniel Ricciardo kind of moment where you're like that high-performance athlete, it's real sweat, and that's kind of what you need to keep it right.
Yeah, I don't really know why I've done it. It was always because I wear my slip over my shirts.
Yeah.
You never see me not wear that. I'll wear that every game, no matter how hot it is. But they're like, when I take them off together, they're already kind of together. So I just slip them both on together. So
honestly, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
but
exactly. I think quick and efficient.
You know what? I think we've probably dwelled on that long enough.
Yeah.
16 wickets this season, though, Fred. You are tied with AJ Ty, but if you look on the charts, you're ahead of him. I mean, is that? That's an incredible season for you, isn't it? Are you happy with that so far?
Yeah, I think obviously it'd be nice to finish up in the top 5 out of everyone. But to be honest, I'd rather the team win. My theory is if you get to the finals day and you win finals, but you bowl rubbish, but you're still in the team, you still got a medal around your neck, haven't you? So obviously, yeah, you have your own personal accolades, but they come behind everything else. I'd love to, yes, 3-4 games left, take a few more, finish in the top 5, but if we win all the games and I get no wickets, I'm not going to be sitting there crying about it.
That is such a good answer. That is the most professional kind of sportsman answer that you could possibly give. Honestly, I think you've earned yourself some extra kind of points there. You've picked up a couple of like massive wickets, though, haven't you? You bagged Maxi twice this season. Just to see, I'll hype you up if you're going to keep giving these professional answers out. Is he the bigger one that you've got so far this year, or is there another guy that you look at that you kind of go, oh no, that particular one really stands out?
Well, Glenn Maxi, yeah. I think it's more the fact that I said in the Sky interview that I grew up watching him playing for Australia in the Big Bash, everything. So to get someone like him, it's obviously, I'm always going to remember it. But I think, yeah, it's good getting the big names out, but you still have to get the slightly smaller names out as well. It'd be nice to get someone like Sam Hain out because he seems to be scoring 70, 80 every game. But no, yeah, wickets are wickets, no matter who's holding the bat, in my opinion. If it's a tail ender or it's an opening batsman, you're still getting one wicket to your name.
Yeah, fair. Well, I don't think you'll be the only bloke in English cricket not to get Sam Hain out this year, so I wouldn't beat yourself up too much on that one. Just to look ahead to tonight, obviously it's Derbyshire. As we said earlier, the team have 1-2 on the bounce. Good bit of momentum going forward into tonight's game. Do you have fond memories of Derbyshire to start with? And is there, I mean, who kind of stands out for you from this Derbyshire team?
It's obviously Wayne Madsen. You can see his numbers from this blast this year have been unbelievable, and just the last few years. You've got Deploy as well, another strong batsman. But I think, once again, they've got a lot of high calibre players. Haider Ali, overseas. It's a strong side. I think I've played Derby a few times, and to be honest, I've seen Wayne Madsen get runs every time we played him. So he'd be the one I'd want to see at the back of him early doors. But yeah, I think it's just take it like another game, really. They obviously had a great game the other day where they absolutely hammered Yorkshire. So they'll probably be on a bit of a high and a bit of a buzz from that. Same as us with 2 on the bounce. So yeah, I'd like to see the back of Madsen and Deploy early to hopefully before I bowl, so they can be a bit more confident.
Well, speaking of before you bowl, I mean, the 2 guys at the top of the order, Dave Willey and Ben Sanderson, the last couple of games. I mean, you definitely must have seen them nip the ball about over those last couple in the power play.
I don't know if we're bowling on the same pitch, to be honest. I see them bowl, it's nipping it square, and everything I'm bowling is just slightly on straight. So, yeah, those 2 done it for so many years, haven't they? It's just they keep it simple, just try to swing the ball, try and nip the ball, and you see how effective it's been. They've both been unbelievable for the whole comp, really. And you have that kind of calibre up top, you know that you could be getting 2 or 3 or even 4 in the power play.
Yeah, and then just finally, before we kind of make our way back around to the other side, obviously Crystal and AJ Ty have been here for this season. How good have they been in the dressing room? How good have they been for you as a youngster? Have you been able to kind of tap into those guys and have a really good chat with them?
Yeah, well, we had Linny last year, and I said to a few people last year that he was one I really spoke to, being someone who's travelled around and played franchise cricket everywhere, probably facing the best spinners in white ball cricket scene for a while. So he was someone I always asked what he found hard against them.
Yeah.
So kind of using it myself. Obviously, I'm not putting myself anywhere near the calibre of those bowlers, but if I can do something similar to them, then obviously it might be successful. AJ as well, same. A lot of conversations with him about fields, and for me, it's asking them about what they've seen world-class spinners do, and then trying to replicate that. Plenty of chats with AJ about his SOT game as well, because I think he's got me covered quite comfortably. His flair points are a bit more higher than mine, so I'm hoping to, when he goes, I can then reclaim the title of best socks.
I like it. Good one to finish on, Fred. Good luck tonight, mate.
Cheers.
Hopefully we're having a positive chat at the end of the night.
Let's hope so. Cheers.
Well, that was Freddie in his socks. Hope people enjoyed the insight, and he's a lovely lad, Freddie. so it was nice having a chat with him. Before we start about Derbyshire, I need to tell you about a Northamptonshire record that happened today. It was in the second 11, and it's a new sixth wicket partnership. You'd think that wouldn't be the hardest thing for me to pronounce out of this record, would it? But I've managed to say sixth. Luke Proctor and academy player Rishabh Apudjai scored 213 runs from 407 balls, which beat the previous record, which was 212, which also included Graham White in there, and that stood since 2014. So records have been broken for Northants in the second 11. We might see some more today. Derbyshire. Sam, I want to talk to you about Derbyshire batters. Who do you look at in that Derbyshire lineup and you go, they look a bit tasty?
Well, you can't look beyond Wayne Madsen, whose numbers this year are absolutely fantastic. 402 runs. What are Wayne Madsen's numbers? But he started off with 5 50s or more, including 109 not out against Leicestershire. He was that I think it was a Malinga times 10, isn't it? It's even lower. But yeah, really excited to see him. As someone I forgot to mention, the other overseas player, Hyder Ali, who had a stinker at the start of the year. His numbers were terrible, but now he's actually hit some really good form, and so he's, in the last few games has rocketed up their run scoring list. He's now just quite a way behind Wayne Madsen, who on those numbers has 451 runs in his 10 innings. 450s, 100. Hyder Ali 303 runs, highest of 74, but most of those scored in sort of the second half of the campaign so far. So another dangerous player. Those two Pakistani overseas will be really exciting to see. Yeah, two, as you say, exciting overseas cricketers. The players make their way up to the middle. So Emilio Gay will be opening up with Ricardo Vasconcelos on this stream, powered by Dafabet as well. Emilio Gay sponsored by Midshires and Vasconcelos sponsored by Curo Wealth. Just quickly before we get started, Joe, where are you going tonight? Steelbacks or Falcons?
Steelbacks.
Sam?
Well, here at Wantage Road, Steelbacks have a pretty good record against Derbyshire. I think it's going to be a great game. Too close to call, but I guess given that history, I would edge slightly towards the Steelbacks as well.
Okay, I think because I'm on the payroll, I think I'm going to have to say Steelbacks as well. So there we go, 3 Steelbacks wins in the box. And looks like we're going to open up with a bit of spin from the Lynn Wilson centre end. That will be Aaron Thompson. Alex Thompson, I apologise.
Yeah, made his season T20 debut against Yorkshire, coming in for Mark Watt, who's obviously away with Scotland in Zimbabwe in the T20 World Cup qualifiers. He did pretty well against Yorkshire, nice and tidy. A sort of like-for-like replacement for the Scotland international Mark Watt with his off-spin.
Yeah, he's a big miss, isn't he, Mark Watt? He is a terrific cricketer. Vasconcelos then to face up against the first ball. And that has beaten Ricardo Vasconcelos. We'll watch that replay back. I wonder if that got a little bit of turn on this pitch. Cut into Vasconcelos' ankle. I think this might be a replay of the first ball, I think. No, replay of the second one. We move. Bit of flight that time, defended by Vasconcelos. Ricardo had a really tough over against Notts to see out against Shaheen, first one of the day on Sunday. A lot of people were thinking the pressure was building. Certainly looks like he's got a bit of turnout there, doesn't it? Swept this time, and that is 4 first runs of the day, first boundary of the day. Vasconcelos off the mark with a sweep shot off Thompson. Powerful shot from Ricardo.
Yeah, that was just straight down the leg side, didn't it? And he's helped himself to that quite nicely. No one at backward square. Got his innings underway.
Seems to have got over his wrist injury. It's kept him out of a few games, and that's great news for Steelbacks.
And the big appeal this time, boundary and out for Ricardo Vasconcelos. Looks like he has implied that one might have just kept a little bit low on him. But Derbyshire have their first wicket. Thompson has it, and Vasconcelos has to go for 4, adjudged LBW.
I think it's clever bowling from Thompson. He knows that Vasconcelos likes to cut, pull, and as we saw, the ball before sweep, so just pushing it through full of a length. Vasconcelos goes back to one that probably wasn't there to go back to, and he's pinned in front. So clever bowling from young Alex Thompson.
Yeah, good start for the Falcons. Just the 4 runs off the first over. That will bring Australian Chris Lynn to the crease, who will join Emilio Gay, and Zach Chappell will open the bowling for the Falcons from the David Capel end. I know, Sam, before we went onto stream, a few of us were talking about how excited we were about watching Zaman Khan and Haider Ali, but you said Zach Chappell's the guy for you.
Well, I think he's one of those classic sort of unfashionable county cricketers who actually does a great job, and I've been delighted to see him do well this year. Top of the Falcons wicket-taking list, I think 3rd in the country overall.
Yeah, he's had a very good start to the year, hasn't he? And he started at Leicester, did a bit of knots, and
yeah, he's done a sort of
Working his way around the Midlands,
exactly,
isn't he?
yeah.
Well, here we go then. Emilio Gay is facing up for his first ball of this evening, and that's flicked off his hip. They're going to look for a couple. Chris Lynn says no. So Emilio Gay picks up his first run. Chris Lynn will then therefore be on strike against Zach Chappell. He scored that magnificent 100 here against Worcester earlier on in the competition. Missed out against Notts through illness and came back into the team yesterday evening against Yorkshire with just the 3 runs to his name. Be looking for a big innings from Chris Lynn this evening, the Steelbacks. And that is the start of what might be that big innings from Chris Lynn. Zach Chappell drifting down the leg side. Chris Lynn tucking it round the corner. And 4 runs for the Aussie.
It's just what you want, isn't it, when you've not quite been hitting the straps that we certainly saw of him last year. It's a little bit of a freebie on leg stump from Zach Chappell.
Yeah, a gift, wasn't it, from the Falcons seamer. Has he got a reply? We know what happened in the last over. That's defended this time from Chris Lynn. So a good comeback from Zach Chappell.
It would be the perfect timing for Chris Lynn to sort of find a bit of consistent form as we are in this kind of pseudo knockout cricket already. I think he did so much of the heavy lifting with the bat for the Steelbacks last year that it's almost that expectation was there, and some of the other players who didn't have to therefore perhaps do much with the bat last year, it's taken a bit of time to kind of take on those roles. So if that can combine now with Lynn.
That's down the ground, and that's hammered past cover. It's racing away towards the pavilion. There's a Derbyshire fielder after it, and he will just bring it back in on the boundary edge, and Chris Lynn will pick up 3. Powerful shot, which clearly he didn't quite time.
I'm not sure if the fielder at extra cover might have got a little hand to it to slow it down. I'm not too sure. But that's good intent from Lynn to come down the wicket and just, try and play to his strengths hitting up the ground.
Ball seems to be coming on nicely, actually. It's, and the seam bowling from the David Capel end.
Straight past Emilio Gay that time. Change of pace from Zach Chappell.
I've enjoyed Emilio Gay's 2 sort of innings of note so far this season. That maiden 50, and then last last night, 40 in that opening partnership with Ricardo Vasconcelos. And I like the fact it shows that, you can still sort of succeed at the top of order playing, especially with the field up, playing some kind of classical cricket shots.
Gives himself a bit of room that time and defends that one into the offside. So that's 2 overs done this evening. The score is 12 for 1. The man to go, Ricardo Vasconcelos. Chris Lynn on 7 and Emilio Gay on 1.
The Steelbacks DJ has been on top form tonight.
You've enjoyed it this evening, haven't you?
All the hits from all the decades.
You've just been tweeting your requests through, I think.
Well, exactly. I had a long list. Sent them over and said, "Don't worry about anyone else's. Just flag these on. You'll be fine." But no, they've been great. Good atmosphere. Slightly different sort of crowd vibe to the Friday nights we've seen.
Yeah, it's a decent turnout, though, I would say, looking around. Similar kind of numbers to what we're here on Sunday afternoon for the Nottinghamshire game. Without going round and counting everybody one by one, it looks fairly there or thereabouts. Thompson is going to carry on from the David Capel end after that successful first over.
Yeah, interesting, this field from Derbyshire. Obviously done their research on Chris Lynn and that man at long on and a man at deep mid-wicket as the two players permitted outside the fielding circle, which makes sense to me.
Gives himself a bit of space and powers that one, but well fielded. That cover for a dot ball. It's been... I personally, I don't think I've seen this so far from Chris Lynn this season, this intent quite so early in the innings, which has been nice. A bit of room again this time, and he beats the fielder, and he picks up 4 down towards Sunset Boulevard and the groundsman's maisonette. Lovely shot.
Yeah, just give himself room there, didn't he? You can see how much he moved over towards the leg side to just, create that angle, open up the offside, and he's only got to beat the man on the 30-yard circle when you know you're getting 4.
Bit straighter in the comeback from Thompson. No run scored.
I think there's definitely something in what you're saying there, Dan. I think kind of the shackles are off a little bit because you've almost got nothing to lose now, whether you're Chris Lynn or the Steelbacks as a whole.
Gives himself that room again, and I don't know whether Thompson's just fired that one through a little bit quicker. Goes between Chris Lynn and his leg stump through to the keeper. So one last ball to come in this Thompson over, and that's an attempted sweep that's going to be given as a leg bye. So 5 runs off it. Thompson's bowled 2 overs in the power play for 9, so it's been a good start for him. And 3 overs gone, 17 for 1 is the score.
Yeah, it's been a really good start from Alex Thompson, actually. 10 dot balls, including a wicket. Quite a tidy start. I think in his setup, he looks a bit Chris Green-esque. I don't know if you're getting those vibes. We've seen a few turn, a few skid on.
Following
Chris Lynn.
Yeah.
And obviously took a couple of wickets in the previous game against Yorkshire, but it's only his 2nd game of the season, obviously coming in for Mark Watt. But yeah, he's looked tidy so far.
Zach Chappell's going to carry on from the David Capel end. And that's gone straight through Chris Lynn, but that intent is sticking with the Australian this evening, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I must admit, when I was looking at Chris Lynn's numbers for this year, before this game, 234, 10 innings at an average of 26. Strike rate, though, was the one that stuck out for me, just 121. His career strike rate in T20 cricket's 142, so...
Short, up, 6. See ya. Bowled it again. That's gone miles towards the bar down by the side, not the side screen, the big screen even. There's a screen in there somewhere. What a shot from Chris Lynn.
Yeah, he's just hit that quite dismissively, hasn't he? Like, get off me.
Like
plenty on it.
Fly at a picnic, wasn't it, almost?
It was. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right in picking up the intent from Lynn. Doing what he does best, hitting boundaries.
Can Zach Chappell reply? Chrislin gives himself that room again, targets that leg side. It's through to the wicket keeper again this time. Interesting, isn't it? Obviously, that point that Joe made about the strike rate this season in the Blast being 120 odd and the career being 140.
And there's a couple of players in the batting line. I think David Willey as well. His strike rate this year is much lower than his career strike rate. I just wonder if there's been a little bit of kind of fear in the game, which maybe has disappeared. Since that Lancashire defeat, where it's do or die.
Yeah, absolutely. One more added to the score there as Chrislin tacked that one off his hip. Might have been chance for two with a bit of a fumble out there, but the Northants batters settled on a single pretty early on, didn't they? So Emilio Gay will be on strike for the last two of this Zach Chappell over. And that's Emilio Gay up. Is it going to fall safe? It is. There's a fielder after it. He's done very well there to save that going for four. So just two added. A bit of a miscue from Emilio Gay and well fielded in the end on the boundary by the Falcons. So no harm done for the Steelbacks, but Chrislin might have been on his way to just give Emilio Gay a couple of calming words, but he was doing his own therapy, wasn't he, towards square leg. Bit of space. That's gone through Zach Chappell. It's gone past the fielder. And that's four through the legs of Zach Chappell. Four more for the Steelbacks. 30 for one after four.
That's the area for Emilio Gay. Don't you saw in the test match yesterday, or a couple of days ago, where Ben Stokes positioned himself almost directly behind the bowler. And you kind of feel like maybe that wouldn't be a terrible place to field to Emilio Gay. He's incredibly strong, straight down the ground.
Yeah, he hit those 3-4s in a row, didn't he? The other evening. Looks like we're going to get a bit more spin. Matty McKiernan is going to come on from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Picks up two for against Yorkshire last time out. ESPN suggests that he's played a bit of second 11 cricket for Northants as well. But short cut straight at the fielder at short third, so no run. Just saw on the screen there popped up the Intelligent Cricket win predictor. Falcons currently at 52.7, Steelbacks at 47.3. And that's beaten the fielder. He's going to race away. That's four more for Chrislin. I'm really enjoying this Chrislin this evening, and I need to see more of it.
Yeah, just a touch short from McKernan, and with the Revs, he was putting on the ball a bit of top spin almost. That meant it just sat up, and Lynn was able to find the gap at cover point.
And moves to 18. Flighted this time and straight at the fielder at cover. So 30 for one after 4.2. Gives himself a bit of space.
Sure.
And powers that one down the ground. Chrislin picks up another one. He moves to 22, 34 for one or 4.5. What a shot that is. Absolute muscle from the Australian.
Yeah, ominous or encouraging signs depending on which side of the fence you sit this evening. Certainly, I would say the best start to an innings by Chrislin was seen this season. Even that 110 he got against Leicestershire, he was going at a run of ball for his first 30, so 26 off 17. Just seems to be timing the ball a little bit better than he has been all summer, or all campaign.
And again, is he fit? He has, oh, he's semi-picked the gap with a bit of a misfield in the end from Falcons fielder. So Chrislin's going to pick up another couple of runs there, targeting that same gap that he did the ball before. Certainly looking at that shorter side, isn't he, towards all of the amenities here at Wantage Road, giving himself the room that he needs.
Wouldn't surprise me if we see Zaman Khan into the attack pretty soon. I think that skiddy action just a little harder to play those cross-batted shots.
Again, he's going to finish on a dot ball, so 40 for 1 after 5. Chrislin on 28 and Emilio Gay on 7. Sam, you're in the hot seat, sir.
Yeah, pretty decent start from the Steelbacks, led by Chris Lynn, 28 off 19, as Dan said. Emilio Gay's barely faced the ball, just 5 deliveries for the opener. Ricardo Vasconcelos, the wicket to fall. LBW to the off-spin of Alex Thompson, who carried on where he left off a few days ago against Yorkshire. That was Derbyshire's record T20 win. That crushing of Yorkshire, and Yorkshire will be a little bit nervous. I think they were on the verge of a record 7th, is that right? 7th T20 win in a row, a club record. And they've been stopped in their tracks in the last couple of games by these two sides. Just made the group a little bit interesting, hasn't it?
Yeah, this North group has been wide open for a while, to be fair, in comparison to the South group, which Somerset and Surrey seem to be dominating.
It is Zaman Khan into the attack. If that's unmistakable action.
That was a shot of a guy that hasn't faced Zaman Khan before, wasn't it, in a T20 game from Emilio Gay?
Yeah, just have a look, wasn't it, I think? I reckon. Never played against Derby before at all, Emilio Gay, actually.
It's a nice shot for none, just pushed into the covers. Joe, have you ever played against someone with a sort of peculiar action, and how does it kind of disrupt your batting?
Yeah, I can think of a few bowlers that bowled off the wrong foot with some funky actions, and
Quick single brings Chris Lynn back onto strike.
there's often a lot of chat around it in terms of when you're sat watching on the bench thinking, oh look, got a bit of a funky action, but it's just really important to almost centre yourself and just come back to watching the ball pretty much, and try not to get distracted by the extra noise, I guess, as it were, of them, whether it's running in slightly differently or when they get into their gather and their delivery stride. Just trying to stay in your own bubble and focus on your processes and your game as a batter.
He's not a tall man, so that kind of accentuates the skiddiness with this action. But he's got under that, Chris Lynn. That'll go 1 bounce for 4. Chris Lynn moves on to 32 from 20 deliveries, including 6 boundaries now. This is a bit more like the Chris Lynn of 2022 vintage.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not quite got hold of it, but because you've got 2 men up on the 30-yard circle, it's pretty risk-free to try and hit over the top in the power play.
Short ball from Khan. Again, Lynn doesn't get hold of it. No run.
Can't remember what batter it was at Derby that absolutely smoked one back at Zaman Khan. Hit him on his foot. And then the next ball was absolutely rapid, like quickest ball of the day. Doesn't seem to quite have hit those speed tallies just yet in his opening over.
full and straight, and bopped back down the ground for a single. And Chris Lynn will keep the strike for the next over.
Solid power play for the Steelbacks there, 46 for 1. Building a nice platform after losing that early wicket of Ricardo Vasconcelos. So the man on your screen, Alex Thompson, who's bowled pretty nicely so far this evening.
Yeah, interesting that it's been all spin from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Very warm welcome to all viewers in Pakistan. According to our stats, we've got a few tuning in. A lot of interest in Hyder Ali and Zaman Khan. So a very good evening to you, where it's probably quite late now in Pakistan. It's down the ground. There's a chance here for Hyder. He takes it. Hyder Ali catches Chris Lynn, and that could be a huge moment in the game. Lynn picks him out. Never really got underneath that one. It was a fairly flat ball down towards the man at long on, and Chris Lynn goes for 33 of 22 deliveries. 23 deliveries when you include the wicket. Big moment, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like it's looked like it skewed off the toe end of Chris Lynn's bat slightly there. Might have been a little bit slower through the air from Alex Thompson. But do you know what? I don't actually mind that as an option for Chris Lynn, because we know how strong he is hitting down the ground, and it doesn't actually matter if there's a fielder at long on, because if he connects with that how he knows he can, it's probably going over his head. So I know he's been caught, like, 10 yards in off the rope, but ultimately he didn't get hold of it. And he's backing himself to play with no fear, as we've seen throughout that innings in terms of his boundary hitting. So, yeah, perhaps the wrong option, but
I think you've got to give some credit to Alex Thompson as well. He just held that one back, sort of said to Chris Lynn, well, if you're going to go big, you're gonna have to do the work. He looks like a really canny bowler. Alex Thompson just playing his second game of the campaign. Obviously, pretty difficult to come in as the off spinner when Mark Watt is in the squad, but he's played the supporting role or the understudy role very nicely. Justin Broad, the recent signing for the Northamptonshire Steelbacks, is the new man. He's off the mark straight away with a single.
it's only his 22nd T20 match, Alex Thompson. So he's 29, so he's not actually played that much T20 cricket, kind of in the blast.
Oh, and that's a chance, a tough chance. Emilio Gay survives to face another delivery. Would have been a good catch. Hit hard.
Almost a little bit like those
exactly
three Joe Root opportunities that we saw in the Test match yesterday.
What a game of cricket. I think it's on everyone's minds still, isn't it? Can't quite work out what I made of it myself. Lovely shot from Justin Broad. Just one run, though. Interesting to see if Justin Broad's straight into consideration in red ball cricket as well. I mean, he's been so impressive. Shorter, and Gay goes for the sweep, gets the top edge, and that runs away for 4. Second boundary of the evening for Emilio Gay. He moves on to 13 off 10, and that's the 50 up for the Steelbacks, with 1 ball of the 7th over remaining. Intriguing start, pretty evenly balanced, I'd say, Joe. Using his feet, Gay, just giving himself some room and pushing out to Hyder Ali, the man who took the catch to get rid of Chris Lynn, down in front of us here in the commentary box at the Lynn Wilson Centre end.
Just to back up your point, Sam, about Justin Broad potentially playing red ball cricket, coming into that squad. He played against Leicestershire in the second 11 championship back on the 12th and 15th of June. He scored 2 50s in that game.
Yeah, his second 11 form for the Steelbacks has been absolutely sensational. And it's not as if the Steelbacks, well, I should say the Northamptonshire batting lineup has been firing in the Championship so far, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if he comes in. There's been a few niggles around, people like Josh Cobb and Rob Keogh currently on the physio's bench. George Scrimshaw into the attack. One of this trio of Derbyshire bowlers that have really sort of bowled, led the seam attack. And that's very, very intelligently played, but it'll be just one run because there is a man down there at third.
See that so often, don't we, from Emilio Gay, that run down to third man.
Yeah, he probably got it a little finer than he wanted. He needed to go 10 yards. He used the pace of the ball well, but it raced to the man at third. George Scrimshaw actually bowls at a decent pace.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, I think that his first delivery is probably the quickest we've seen so far tonight, to be fair to him.
Tall as well, so that dream combo of pace and bounce. Leading wicket taker for Derbyshire in the 2022 campaign, and there's some of that bounce again, and this time it's Justin Broad who dinks it down to third, just rotating the strike. Steelbacks, which is good to see. You don't want to get bogged down. Wait for the delivery which you can target. Left hand, right hand combo as well, just forcing the bowler to adjust his lines if you rotate the strike. It'll be a wide.
Was there talk last summer about George Scrimshaw potentially playing international cricket? Or have I completely made that up?
No, I wouldn't be surprised by it. He did get his first England Lions cap, I think, over maybe not this winter, but the winter before. But he is impressive, and obviously...
That's another short ball, which Emilio Gay has got fully hold of and hit for 6 over the man at backward square, deep backward square. Well, that was a classic example of using the pace and the bounce, wasn't it? Just rode the ball, got underneath it, out of the middle of the bat, and 6 runs. For Emilio Gay, moves on to 21 off 13.
Yeah, he timed that really nicely, did Emilio Gay, using that pace and bounce, as you mentioned, Sam. Yeah, George Scrimshaw is the third leading wicket taker for Derby in the Blast. So he's got 52 wickets in just 35 matches, so he's got a pretty solid record.
Dinked down to third again by Emilio Gay. This is good stuff from the Steelbacks, just waiting for the ball to attack, otherwise happy to pick up ones. Yeah, he's actually, before tonight, he's been the most economical of that trio, although their stats are all pretty similar. Chappell, Khan and Scrimshaw. 19 wickets for Chappell, 16 for Khan, 15 for Scrimshaw, and all with economy rates around 8.5. Scrimshaw's 8.41 is the best of the 3. That's well bowled. But again, well played by Justin Broad, who, despite it being a good delivery, managed to engineer another single. And that's 11 off the first 5 balls of this, the 8th over. George Scrimshaw's first of the night. Three men out on the boundary on the leg side, which makes sense given these... Oh, another leg side wide. Makes sense given these back of a length deliveries from Scrimshaw, hoping that his pace will just lead the left-handed Emilio Gay to lose control of his shot. Certainly had control of that one earlier in the over, didn't he? Beautifully timed. Lovely shot from Emilio Gay. No men out in the deep, straight down the ground. Uses his feet, bashes it back past Scrimshaw for the second boundary of the innings, an expensive an expensive one from George Scrimshaw. How many is off that over, Joe? I'm trying to add it all up. 16. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good over for the Steelbacks, and not a great over from the man I was just saying has been the most economical of the Falcons seamers. Expensive start. So, yet more spin. What do you think of this this plan? I mean, it's working so far. The spinners have, well, McKernan went for 10 off his first over. Certainly Thompson has been exceptional from his 3, but not often you see just spin from one end at the start of a T20 innings.
Yeah, no, you tend to see a little bit more mixing it up a bit, but clearly the plan for Derbyshire here. You just wonder, it seems as though spin is a little bit trickier to find the rope with, whether it's just worth trying to milk this end for now.
Actually, it looks... Sorry, Joe.
No, it's just especially after that over from Scrimshaw, you know, even just getting six or 8 off of this, and then Derbyshire is still trying to break the partnership, aren't they? And they're the ones that have got to impact the game.
I'm thinking about 2, but just, well, missed field allows them to come back for 2.
I don't have the numbers right to hand. I'm sure Joe's probably got them kicking about, but I think it'd be fair to say that the Steelbacks have struggled the most against wrist spin in particular this season here at Wantage Road, haven't they?
Sama Mir, Nathan Souter.
Reverse sweep attempted, but can't make contact. Yeah, even Luke Wells for Lancashire.
Yeah,
I say even, you know, he's actually had a great season with the ball, but, you know, he's perhaps not what you would have regarded as a frontline spinner in the way that Souter and Mir have been. Shorter from McKernan, again just pushed out. I think the other thing is that this looks like quite a quick pitch actually. You know, carrying nicely, so pace off, just making the batter do the work. Maybe not a bad tactic. Scrimshaw, the quickest of the seamers we've seen so far tonight, and that's just meant that the ball has flown off the bat. It's a pitch you can trust when considering the bounce. Just 3 off the first 5 balls of the over. Can he get out without conceding a boundary? The answer is no. 4 runs. Lovely sweep shot from Emilio Gay. Didn't have a huge triangle between the man on the 45 and the man at deep backward square, but he managed to bisect them. Ball went away at the hell of a pace.
Again, really well timed, wasn't it, from Emilio Gay? I mean, I know it was down the leg side from McKernan. I guess he's always got to be quite tight, and the margin for error with his line coming over the wicket to left-handed Gay, obviously, of the ball turning away down the leg side of Emilio Gay. It's always going to be more difficult to hold that line, and yeah, Gay just almost helped that on its way, didn't he? 30 off 16 for him, tidy start. Beautifully
Placed. Really didn't have much room between those two men. If you look at it sort of as an aerial shot, the piece of the pie wouldn't be very wide, but managed to get it through. Scrimshaw continuing. Looking for 2 here. That's very, very well run as long as they get back, which they do. Great intent from Steelbacks there with that running. I think the moment he laid bat on ball, Justin Broad had 2 on his mind.
Yeah, really intelligent, low risk. Great start to the over for the Steelbacks.
Sun bathing the ground now. Bowled him! Looked like an off-cutter, which came back to Justin Broad, who is gone for 9. Look at the replay here. Just angled back in actually at Broad. It's a good ball.
Yeah, he enjoyed that one, didn't he? Celebration there from Scrimshaw, sending that middle leg cartwheeling for Justin Broad. Maybe trying to look in to hit it a little bit too square, similar to the previous delivery. But yeah, I think he might have just rolled his fingers down the side of it and got that angle in.
Well, Captain David Willey strides to the crease, joins Emilio Gay. He's on 30 off 16. David Willey's stats for the bat so far this campaign: 11 innings, 210 runs, highest of 36. And as Joe mentioned earlier, sort of slightly surprising strike rate of just 117.97. Yeah, good comeback from George Scrimshaw, who got a bit of tap in the previous over, but just push that one up a little fuller, and like Joe says, maybe rolling his fingers over the ball to get first bit of sort of lateral movement we've seen. It just tailed in, didn't it? David Willey is off the mark straight away. Approach the halfway mark of the Steelbacks innings, having won the toss and elected to bat. They are 80 for 3. Yeah, David Willey's career strike rate is 136.02. Again, looking again to dink that down to third. Scrimshaw definitely taking the pace off the ball a little bit now. I think he